sit right over there, Chris. Perfect. Oh, okay, perfect. So, okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Okay, I got it.
Now, yes, let's do this.
I like how all the reserved chairs are completely empty. So who are they reserved for?
Can we fill them in? Can you guys just like...
Is it like a sin if
Those of you in the back, would you like to come to the very front in the center?
For the reserved? Does anyone have any reservations about sitting in the reserved seats? Because I don't.
Those of you on the very outskirts, you want to come up here? Because we're going to do a
I'm not gonna
selfie at the end, and we want you guys in it.
If the con police have to come for me, let them come.
Yeah,
as far as I'm
come on.
concerned, you can sit up in the reserved seats. What do you say, Chris?
Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
It's on me.
It's on Chris, guys.
It's on Pathfinder. It's more fun when you're closer. I can see more of your smiling visages. It's great. Oh, okay. A few brave soldiers. It's awesome. Okay.
Excellent.
Is it fun cosplaying when it's 150% humidity? All right. Just wanted to get that out there. Okay, cool.
Welcome, welcome. Got your water there for you if you need it.
Yeah.
You guys, one more time, give a huge round of applause. We're so happy to have you here. And this is a Q&A panel, so people are excited. They want to ask some questions. They're all lined up over here. So we're just going to jump in and get right to some questions.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Hello again.
Hello.
So my question is, out of all of the things you've recorded for Apex, which has been your least favorite line to record and your favorite line to record?
I couldn't pick up least favorite. What about you, Chris?
I don't have a least favorite line, but I know that when you're doing like your 1,000th call out, P2020 here, or I found a penny, just random stuff that you have to do over and over and over again. That can get a little tedious, but my favorite line is "Piss off, Scablander." That's always my favorite line. Because Pathfinder got to curse.
Yeah, well, I mean, the pings, yeah, I mean, they're not hard. I mean, guys, we have a dream job.
This is the greatest.
It's like, which part of our dream job is the worst?
Right.
There is one line that, what's interesting is you never know what your lines are going to resonate with the fans. And I think people just think I wake up every morning and be like, Mozambique, yeah. So that one, it's like a surprise, like when it lands. But I like Pass Me That Sugar. I like that one a lot. And come and get your birthday present.
Is it different doing voice acting for a video game versus like anime, or does it feel like the same for you, or is it a little bit different?
The method is different.
Yeah, I mean, this is the anime queen right here. She's done them all, but we can both vouch for the fact that anime is a very specific skill set. You have to have timing, rhythm. You've got to match lip flap. You've got to match the intensity of the Japanese actor or actress, who are always amazing, and you've got to do it in this compressed bit of time. So once you get that down, then it's easy.
Yeah, and in original games like original animation, which you do quite well in that, Mr. Edgerly, you are the one who originates the time. So you take as much time as you want to do a line. You don't have to worry about the time constraints. But I guess in games sometimes there is a little bit of a time constraint if it's not story mode. You've got a few seconds, and so sometimes you'll do the best read and you think, man, that was brilliant. And they're like, it was too slow. So you have to do it again and with a little more urgency. And what about you?
I actually had a question for Chris. How did you get your role? Like, did they come out to you, or did you request a role for Pop the One?
For Popcorn?
Yeah.
Oh, for Skylanders. Yeah, that's going back a ways. I auditioned for it, and I just remember. I don't remember the specific audition, but I do remember where we recorded. I don't always remember the studio where we recorded, but we recorded in Santa Monica. And it was just a few blocks away from the ocean. And here I am, doing a really fun character, Hopthorn, straight to the point, that guy. And he's a really fun little character, and I'm getting paid, and the ocean is a few blocks away, and there's this beautiful breeze blowing by, and I'm thinking, this is the greatest job ever. And honestly, I remember that more than almost anything else. There are so many little gifts that this business gives you.
Yeah, the craft service.
Craft services.
They always have
You
great
remember the
snacks.
food a lot, yeah. So, yeah, popcorn is really fun. And I remember my son got really into Skylanders, and I kept waiting for him to play popcorn, and he never did. Well, it's okay.
Did you tell him? Did he know that you were the voice?
Yeah, he doesn't care.
What is it?
Yeah, he's a voice actor too. So he's like, yeah, he's already
Isn't
seen.
he in Hell of a Boss?
Yeah, he's in Hell of a Boss. My son probably could have a longer line at this convention than I would if he was here. So yeah.
Wonderful. Next question.
Hello, so just a question for the both of you in regards to like all your voices that you've done throughout your career as a voice actor. Has there ever been times to where you did a voice and then the more you did the voice for a specific character, you got to learn more about them?
I think, yeah. I mean, when you first start, you're just grateful for the job and the free food. And I didn't know when I first started that I was just making extra money to go to law school. I didn't know I was going to stick around. And so to get to play characters for a decade, like 10 years, like you get to grow up with them, it's a beautiful thing. Because at first, you want the job, you get the job, you're so excited, you're nervous, and then when you get the opportunity, and it's rare, to be on an animated series or a game where you get to come back again, you learn, you get to know the writers and the dev team, and so it's much more of a collaborative effort. And I think the one big thing that changes is that you become more confident and comfortable, and you not only discover things about the character that you're playing, but you discover things about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, any character you play, if you want to be believable, you've got to access a little bit of that character in yourself. Unfortunately, one of the characters I'm known for playing, Hedon, is a homicidal maniac.
Well, Chris?
Yeah. So, obviously, I'm not that, but Hedon also has a little bit of a temper and he gets very impatient. That can be me sometimes. I got the ADHD. Any of my neurodivergent friends here? There you go. Yeah, we're a bigger tribe than people think. But, you know, I try to harness it. I try to make sure that I don't, go off the handle without breathing and all that. So over the years I've learned, yes, I could have a short-tempered day like Hedon does, but I can also manage it. So sometimes you learn what you don't want to be like just from playing one guy over and over again.
Great question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, hi guys.
Hello.
So my question is, what was it like creating the voices for Pathfinder and Lifeline? And what's your favorite Apex Legends besides yourself?
Start last time.
Okay. When I read for Pathfinder, it was a day where, we get multiple auditions a day, and this was a day where I had 5 or 6 other things, and it was just one of 5 things I read for that day. And I thought, okay, happy robot. All right, I can do that. And if any of you have ever seen the movie Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt, okay. In that movie, there's a little AI concierge called the Infomat. Well, I'm the voice of the Infomat in that movie. And in that movie, the Infomat has a catchphrase where he says, happy to help. And that came out a year before I was auditioning for this. And I thought, well, he's a robot. He's apparently, shooter. It's not exactly like the Infomat, but it's a close cousin. So I thought, let me take that and add about 25% happy. And I did that for the audition. And when I got the call back, I went to Warner Brothers, went into the studio, and I think part of the reason why I booked it is they looked at me and they saw this tall, skinny, goofy guy who is like a walking dad joke. And that's kind of what I think Pathfinder is. And the more we joked with each other and interacted, I think the more they realized, yeah, I think this guy could be a believable Pathfinder. But it all started with me taking the idea of what I did in Passengers and tweaking it. So I like to think that, not that this is canon, and Respawn will surely disown me if I insist it is, but I like to think that Pathfinder is somehow related to the Infomat in Passengers.
Amazing.
I was going to say, just like you, it was an audition. I had 8 auditions, and a temporary assistant at the agency I was with, named Andrew, saw something and actually slid it into my auditions because the agents didn't give it to me. And that last audition was for Healer. Turned out it was Lifeline. And so I did the callback at Warner Brothers, and there were these 2 famous TV actresses also being called back. And I was like, well, it was nice being considered. But I went in and I did something different than they did, and they actually liked it. And what's interesting is when we were auditioning, we were testing different, the whole dev team was there, and so we tested different registers. So what they thought they really liked was, I'm the one you should have concerns about. She had a lower voice, and she was like, come and get your birthday present. It was very smooth. And then they cast Wraith, who was like, tell Death I said hello. And then Bangalore, you know what I mean? Stop, what is it? Stop, drop, and roll, I can't remember. And then Bloodhunder. So when I showed up to the first session, they're like, about that, could you raise her back up? And she's gonna be a little, they needed some lightness. So the process was really it's not always this way, but I think definitely with our team, they really asked us what we wanted to do, and it was a collaboration from the very beginning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead, next question.
Hello. What's your favorite additional voices you've done?
All right.
Do you mean additional voices like?
The background characters.
Oh yeah.
Background character. I've done a lot of that stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, I've done random voices for The Simpsons over the years, and that's always fun. I did Marge Sislak, Moe's brother, Marge Sislak in The Simpsons. He was fun. But I worked on Black Hawk Down, all right? So back in the day, before they did everything remotely, you would drive to a studio lot, and they would say, we have to cover these parts of the movie because it's an R-rated film. We have to adjust it for cable. We have to take out a lot of the profanity and put in other words. You have to be able to voice match these random characters here. And it was like a scrum. It was a bunch of guys all wanting to sound like soldiers in Black Hawk Down. And somehow I was one of the ones chosen for it. And we just sat there for the rest of the day, filling in every single random F-bomb that they had to remove. And you had to do it amidst helicopter sounds and incoming fire and all that.
What did you replace them with? It was like punch stripes.
Yeah, freak that, or find you, there are kids here, so I don't want to get too explicit. But anyway, yeah, that was a really interesting day.
That's a great question. We've never been asked that question. I got to be in the sound design team for Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, and so they were creating the mermaids' voices. So I do whistle tones, so we were creating these mermaid voices, but on this huge screen, I think it was at Sony, you saw everybody in their motion capture suits, and it was people that are part of, I'm trying to think of the word, it's like a synchronized swimming team. So they were all of these incredible swimmers, and then obviously they added tails later, but they were swimming, moving, so it wasn't all CGI, it was actual people. And so I loved being the voices of that and creating this world, but to see all of these people, and then to see it in the theater, where they had then added mermaid tails and everything, it was really, the 8-year-old in me was like, that's so cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any personal, I know as doing voice acting, sometimes it's difficult on your vocal cords. Do you guys have any honey or certain things you take within the booth with you to help prevent vocal fry for you guys?
You just take Gigi, right?
Yes.
He's massages
my lovely
your
wife
shoulders.
who's here, yeah. She's, you sing, and singers, it's nothing but vocal stress. So there's all kinds of tricks you have to know. I always do throat coat tea, which is good, honey, a little bit of lemon if you think you need it, staying hydrated, using diaphragmatic vocal technique. Don't scream from your throat, scream from your diaphragm, you'll save your vocal cords. And I discovered also this syrupy kind of herbal remedy called Ninjam Pepakoa. It's a Chinese herbal remedy. They have it at every studio. And I thought, it can't be that good. And it is that good. It's amazing. So I use that too.
Excellent.
Hi, I have a question. What was it like to voice act a character in a video game?
Anybody see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they got the last golden ticket? It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. It's pretty amazing. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, every video game is a little bit different, but every time you're doing it, you're thinking, wow, somebody's gonna play this and they're gonna throw their controller against the wall out of pure anger. Yeah, and it's gonna be because of me. Yeah. Like, I get, when I play Apex, and I'm terrible at Apex, when I play and I lose to another Pathfinder, that really hurts. Because then I have to hear my own voice lines coming back at me. So it's weird, but it's cool.
Great question. Thank you.
All right, next question.
What are some of your favorite things your director can do for you to make your life easier?
These questions are amazing.
That is good.
Voice acting is a director's medium, especially in games, or if you're not doing live reads for your animated series, which we don't do as much anymore after the pandemic. We'll record separately. The director has the big picture. So they've seen, like with Mortal Kombat, they had several different timelines, and so you don't know which one you're in, and they know. And so they're able to kind of guide you. Directors, they see the big picture, but they're also really helpful to keep you out of your head. Great engineers as well. So you just get to go in, it's like a playground, and it's kind of like you're 7 and you get to play cops and robbers, or goddesses and scorpions and jades. But I think there are times, I think you've probably had this too, every now and then you'll have a director that's like, yeah, that was, hold on. And then you just see through the glass.
No, just a second. You just sitting there going, this will be my last day. Okay, yeah.
And you don't know, they might be like a Subway.
Yeah. You want to get the barbecue chips? No, we're good.
But you're inside, they're just dying. And then they're like, yeah, could you do another take, please? But like, if you take too much time, like we're still artists, and we'll be like, man, I'm a star. I feel, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna work again. And by the time they come back with, can you do another take? You're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody's got a problem to solve throughout production, and anytime you can make the actor's job easier, great. Anytime you can make the director's job easier, great. When the director is clear about what they want, when they understand you might need a break, when they understand that you probably don't have another one in you because they need you for the next hour and they can't blow out your vocal cords, they understand, they get it. Some of the best directors are also actors, and they
that
get
really
it.
helps. Because they have a compassion and a good known language. I think it's good for directors. Tom Keegan is a really good game director.
Yeah.
And he has like an intensive course he does in LA, and it's mixed with actors and directors. And so they can see the process and understand it, and we get to understand the process as well. Hold on, my phone is not on silent.
Well, that's okay. The thing, I'm glad that you brought that up. The thing that I think is interesting, there's a lot of people out there who can do impersonations, which is fun, but you truly are actors. And I think people don't realize how difficult it is, because you have to convey all that emotion, and you can't use your face, your body as much, because they're not seeing that on camera. It all comes through vocal inflection, but you do such a good job at it that everybody here, they resonate and they love these characters that you guys have created because you're so talented. And I think it's an amazing skill, and I think it's wonderful you do that.
It's very kind of you to say. Yeah, and when I started, I was doing impressions as a kid. And impressions are fun. They are. And when I was doing stand-up comedy, I would do impressions. But what I learned very quickly is that it's one thing to do an impression where you've practiced 2 sentences, but that's all you ever say of that character. When you're an actor, they're going to want you to take that voice and create with it. So a lot of impressionists can do a couple of lines and they can't break out of that narrow lane they're in. An actor can take an impression and they can create something new with it. And that's what you got to be able to do. You got to act.
Absolutely wonderful. All right, next question.
So in terms of either animated or gaming, what character would you want to voice in the DC universe?
I always think Bizarro Superman would be fun. Like, you know, he seems so limited in what he's allowed to say, but you know, sometimes when you hem somebody in that much, you start to get highly creative with what you're able to do. Because, you know, Superman, there have been a lot of Superman voices, and they've all been great. I don't know if I would add anything to that, but, you know, give me somebody on the periphery. That might have a lot of fun with them.
I can't really answer that question until next year. But
NDA.
I would love to see, I mean, not to, this will be the most political thing I say. I'd love to see a slightly different Lois Lane.
Well, well.
Our next question right over here.
Was it like doing like the grunts or the like noise, like when somebody's like jumping or like the screams?
Oh, doing the screams?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it like doing those?
Or like, do you even like them? Or,
Doing what?
Or is it like fun doing
Do we
them?
like
Or
doing
like how's it doing? Or
one of the things I love about Apex Legends is Pathfinder doesn't scream.
Yeah.
He doesn't have impact noises, he doesn't get hurt. Every now and then he goes, oh, and that's it. Because I've done, all right, here's my scream story, we've all got them. About, 17 years ago, I was doing a Lord of the Rings game. It might have been Third Age, I'm not sure. But it was heavy on battle noises. And at one point they're saying, all right, you're being shot by a flaming arrow. Give me 3 in a row of that. And then, all right, you're being eaten by an Oliphant. Give me 3 in a row of that. And after 2 hours, all right, it was a 2-hour session. After 1 hour of just getting pummeled by every creature in Middle Earth, my head started to go, and I thought, okay, this is actual work. This is one of those times where this actually feels like a job. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to make it through these 2 hours, I'm going to promise to buy myself something nice when I walk out of here. So I went to, and this shows you the level of taste I have, I went to Z Gallery down the street and bought like one of those vanilla paintings you see. It's a wharf and there's trees. But to this day, it's hanging in our house, and I call that my Lord of the Rings painting. I bought myself something nice because my head was just going, you know.
The guys have to do a lot more of that than the ladies do, for the most part. The only time I've ever had to really dig deep was for Jade at MK, because she's not like, ow. Like, I mean, you know, she's pretty badass. But I remember I had to really give out some guttural yells, like long in there, and I mean, I'm just like veins popping out, and they're like, it was 3 seconds too short. And so I finally had to take a deep breath, and I just let it go. I was like, you know, like really bad. And then Erica Lindbeck, who plays Cassie Cage, was like just walking into the theater, and she's like, you know, this big eyes, just like, are you okay, Mama? But yeah, the guys, they really put you to work.
It's a lot. I mean, one director once said, now, you know, these can be fun. And I looked at him, and he saw that wasn't the thing to say to him. And I said, dude, look, they're not fun. We're going to do them, because we're professionals, that's what we do. But let's not lie to ourselves. It's a necessary part of the game.
And you definitely have to use, like, the diaphragmatic breathing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's strange, is you can't make noise because you're in front of this mic. But you really have to imagine yourself physically in there, actually the way you hurt yourself when you're screaming or doing grunts is by clenching your whole body. Do you know what I mean? So you're only putting it in your throat, you can really hurt yourself. So you really do have to, even though you're imagining running, imagining, you know, weapons training, swordplay, you need to stretch out your body and make sure that you open up your instrument. Because 7-year-olds go out on the playground all the time, scream their lungs out for 20 minutes, and in the history of never do they come back into class with a sore throat. So if you're relaxed and you're really in that imaginary play space, it's the best part about protecting your voice. Great question.
That's amazing. So when you guys are doing, did you guys know like the roles that you were auditioning for when you went out to audition for Apex Legends, or was it a blind audition, you just went in like hoping for it? And when it is a blind audition like that, how do you know how to read for that particular role?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was for. I mean, they said, here's the character. And then when I came back for the callback, they said, okay, this takes place in the Titanfall universe. You're familiar with Titanfall, right? I said, no. I had never played Titanfall. You know, I'm more familiar with it now. But they just said, okay, well, let's bring you up to speed. This is what it is. And I don't need to know what the project is. If you can tell me who the character is, I'll go from there. You know, and I'll take your direction and we'll go. So I don't need to know. Some people like to know more. You know, for me, yeah.
Well, I think it used to be a situation, people say, I'd love to be a voice actor, I do a lot of voices. But the medium of voice acting or even gaming and anime is a lot more organic, so they're looking for unique voices. So it's your voice that starts. 80% of your characters are going to have 80% of you in them, you know? And so you just assume you in that universe. So knowing too much doesn't really help. Like, Chris is actually Pathfinder in real life, you know? Great friend, high five, slightly awkward. But you sound just like Pathfinder in real life, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
High five.
Trying to get my kids up in the morning. Wake up!
Can you imagine?
Let's go. Let's have a great day.
Yes.
I saw it on the YouTube, and I'm not sure if they're going to put a live-action movie of the LadyBug.
Well, they were going to, and then we had there was a little hiccup, World Health thingy about 4 years ago. So they put all the money into the animated feature. But man, wouldn't a live action LadyBug be like, really cool? Yeah, that's such a great question, and we put it out into the universe, people, so I can't wait until we get a live action version. Because they'd still need the voice of Tiki, wouldn't they?
Perfect. I think we have 2 more questions.
What are some advice that you can give to a aspiring voice actor to like get into voice acting and stuff like that?
I answer this question a lot. Obviously, we both do. The most important thing you can do is just study acting. Honestly, it's acting. And if you can get up in front of a live audience, do that too. Live performing helps you. It helps your creativity. It helps you respond to the feedback you're getting from the audience and your castmates. And sometimes, if you're not getting much from them, you have to go the extra mile to make it work. And that's going to be a situation you find yourself in sometimes for a production. Maybe the director isn't giving you a lot, but you've trained, all right? You're going to go the extra mile. So get those reps in. Learn acting, and if you can join an improv group or try stand-up or a play, you name it, get in there and do it. And you will, first of all, if you fall in love with it like that, then it's going to make you a great artist, because you got to be committed to it, because there's a whole lot of rejection. So get ready for that, and it's never personal. You could crush your audition and someone else will get it because they're just more appropriate for it. So you have to learn all of these things, and so many people think, well, I have a nice speaking voice. That's wonderful, but it doesn't mean that you can create a character and expand it, and do it on command, and do it within 3 or 4 takes. So, yeah, practice the craft, get to where you can just bang, 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 do it. You know, it takes time. Be patient.
And I think the training gives you the confidence.
Yeah.
Eyes are liars. So it's like, we can look a certain way. You can look the part of a star. You can look the part of a soldier, but the voice is the truth. And so sometimes when we go into record, if you don't have confidence in what you bring, we can hear it. You know, I always tell people we can't cash the check if you don't have your signature. And so sometimes people go in and they try to become something they think the director wants, or the sound of someone who they think is important, but you're important. Any audition you have from now on, you're the lead. Even if it's a small character, you're going to get your own spin-off series. And so if you're the lead, you're going to get it because you're the next Robin Williams or Matthew Lillard, and they're all a little you know, kooky, right? And so why are we trying to erase ourselves and kind of get rid of the edges that make us, you know, so interesting and incredible? And you have to do the work in acting classes, but you also have to do the work in your own life. I mean, this is good for accountants or actors. There has to be a confidence in who you actually are, what you love, quantum physics, mechanics, you know, dogs, cats, mathematics, Warhammer, little miniatures, whatever it is. Imagine every character you play, they love the same things you love. So bring yourself into that leading role and know that your voice, your perspective, your heartbreaks, the things you love, that you're passionate about, bring all of that into the room with you. And that's the only way you can guarantee that you'll have a portrayal or a storytelling in confidence that's really your own. And if it's not right, like what Chris says, you won't write for it. But casting directors will cast like 14 things a year. And all their friends that are casting directors are casting. So I might have a great audition. What's your name?
Rowan.
Rowan, I might hear a great audition from you, and you're not right for this project, but 3 projects down the line, I'm like, Chris, let's get that kid Rowan in.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was good.
Right?
He nailed it in one take. He's pleasant.
Yeah.
Doesn't kick over the craft service table if we don't have the exact tea he wants, you know. Yeah.
So know that you might have gotten the job. I did a series with Kristen Bell. She's like in Frozen and The Good Place, a few things. But when I walked in to do the read, the producer came up to me and said, I just need to let you know you were not what we were looking for. Thanks. You know, like, okay. But they had heard me sing at the Edison in LA, and I just gave my own read. And everyone else apparently gave them what they actually asked for. I read the directions wrong. They wanted like a primary school teacher just explaining music. And I was like, I love music. And you know, let's help you find your own song. And so it was completely different from what everyone else had done. But the producer had remembered, oh my gosh, I never even thought the character could go in this direction. I saw her sing 10 years before I booked this job. And because she liked me on stage 10 years ago, I ended up booking this incredible job with Kristen Bell. So you're planting seeds for your future. I hope that helps other people, not just you.
Excellent. All right. This one had to be very fast.
Alright, no worries. Hi, my name is Rochelle. He actually kind of asked what I wanted to know, but I was curious, what was your first in? Like your first step in and how you got it?
I used to live in Orlando, right? I grew up in Savannah, went to University of Georgia. When I graduated, I came back to Savannah, saved a little money, moved to Orlando. And this is back in 1994, after working at the Olive Garden for about a year, and doing a little bit of stand-up comedy. I just picked up the phone.
At the Olive Garden?
At the Olive Garden, yeah. I picked up the phone book and I cold called an agency that was in a nice part of town, so I thought, well, they must be a good agency. We look at their address. And I said, I'd like to get an agent. I said, okay, well, come on in. And they met with me and they had me do a monologue, and I did well enough with the monologue. They signed me. I booked the first audition I went on, some industrial thing.
That was it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it at least gave me the confidence to know, okay, I should at least keep doing this. But a couple of years down the line, I was working on the Spider-Man ride. And then the casting director and the director cast me over everyone he listened to in LA to be Spider-Man. A couple of years after that, I'm working on a ride for Men in Black for Universal with the producers of that ride. And they said, do you have an agent in LA? Because by then I'd moved to LA. And I said, no, we'll get you a meeting. I got that meeting. I nailed the meeting. I put together a demo with that agent. She signed me. Within a couple of years, I was making a living doing it. And all of it started with me picking up the phone and calling an agent out of the blue in Orlando. It's not one thing. It's a series of opportunities that you're prepared for. You don't always nail them, but if you keep climbing that ladder a little bit at a time, you will end up on a stage talking to a lady in a Madame Web outfit. And there's nothing wrong with that. No.
You guys,
Great question.
can you give a huge round of applause? We're at the end of our time. Thank you so much.
We'd love to do a quick selfie if you guys want to.
Can we do a selfie?
Yeah.
Pull out your phones and turn your flashlights on.